Welcome to my channel. If you enjoy this story, don't forget to subscribe and like. Metal chains bit into Ethan Kane's wrists, icy as a reminder of his new fate, a captive. The Klythar jailer, its membranous wings glinting silver, yanked the chain, making Ethan stumble across the stone floor of Zoratha's slave market. Blood trickled from a cut on his forehead, mingling with sweat soaking his tattered pilot's uniform. The alien crowd murmured, eyes gleaming with curiosity, teeth bared in contempt. "Move, human!" the jailer growled through a translator, its voice sharp as a blade. Ethan's mind, once an elite pilot of Earth's fleet, raced with plans of resistance. 3 seconds to snap the jailer's neck. Or choke it with the chain. But the control device implanted in his spine, small and cruel, ensured obedience. One misstep, and pain would sear every nerve. Ethan scanned the market. Zorath was no alien paradise, as Earth's propaganda claimed. A gray sky churned with toxic mist, spiral metal towers gleaming like living creatures. Alien species, feathered, scaled, and towering Klythar with wing membranes and cold, sharp eyes, mingled in the throng. Ethan clenched his jaw, standing tall despite the chain's pull. He was no prey. He was a pilot, a hunter, only temporarily caged. The jailer shoved him onto the auction platform. Memories surged, that fateful night on Venus's asteroid belt. His Hawk squadron was ambushed. Plasma erupted, comrades screamed through comms, his ship blue flame spiraled into darkness. Ethan fought to the last second, hands gripping the controls, eyes locked on the radar. But the enemy, with superior tech, crushed them. A flash, then darkness. Now here he was, no longer a commander, just a commodity. This item. The Klythar auctioneer, short wings quivering with excitement, bellowed through an amplifier. Is a human male. Peak physical condition, combat pilot, skilled in machinery, tactics, tech repair. Suitable for heavy labor, fighting, or operating equipment. Rough hands prodded Ethan's muscles, displaying him like livestock. He gritted his teeth, jaw aching. His squadron, humanity's pride, was ash. Earth's fleet promised protection, but Klythar tech proved them wrong. Bidding starts at 8,000 credits, the auctioneer shouted. The crowd buzzed, claws and tentacles raised. Ethan stared ahead, eyes steel. He'd survived Special Forces flight training, where hesitation meant death. He would survive. He would return home. A tall figure stepped forward, Klythar wings twitching, silver gleaming under Zoratha's twin suns. Black armor, emblazoned with a sharp, broken star insignia, radiated authority. The crowd fell silent, the air heavy as before a storm. 30,000! A deep voice rang out, silencing all whispers. The auctioneer's eyes widened. 30,000 from General Vera of Sky Force. Anyone for 35,000? Silence. No one dared. Sold! The auctioneer cried, crystal gavel slamming down, the sound sharp as fate. Vera approached, steps echoing on stone like a war drum. The jailer hurriedly handed over the control device, a small, blue glowing tool, eyes lowered. Vera's blazing yellow eyes locked onto Ethan, cold, analyzing him like a machine. Call me General, she said through the translator, voice devoid of emotion. You are Skyforce property, serving Leader Sylvara. Special mission. Failure means death. Understood? Ethan met her gaze, unflinching. Understood, General, he replied, voice low, edged with defiance. The jailer smirked, sharp teeth glinting. This one's got spirit. Needs breaking. Vera's eyes sliced to him, deadly. Unnecessary, she said, voice ice. The leader needs him alert. The chains fell, but the control device remained an invisible shackle. Vera led the way, wings folded tight, each step a declaration of power. They crossed Zoratha's streets, spiral towers piercing clouds, biogas gardens shimmering with eerie light. The twin suns, one red, one gold, cast distorted shadows, like lurking beasts. Ethan memorized streets, guards, plasma rifles slung over shoulders. An opportunity would come. The Skyforce Palace loomed, massive, half structure, half creature, its metal sails quivering as if ready to fly. Inside, tension crackled. Guards stood rigid, wings folded, eyes scanning Ethan as a threat. Klythar servants, thin-winged, darted with metal trays. A current of unease rippled, as if the palace held its breath. Vera led him through checkpoints, armored guards wielding glowing plasma weapons. Sensors scanned Ethan's body, beeping softly, confirming the control device. He kept his face blank, but his pilot's mind analyzed security weaknesses, guard spacing, reaction times. "The leader's condition is top secret," Vera said, voice low as they passed halls carved with stars and wings. "Speak only to me and Chief Engineer Zora this." Ethan nodded but probed, voice steady. "What's wrong with the leader?" His pilot's mind, forged in combat and ship repairs under pressure, saw cracks. Vera paused, yellow eyes narrowing. "Zora this will explain," she replied, voice cold, sealing off clues. The hall ended at a massive metal door, etched with two-winged Klythar, as if guarding a secret. Vera touched a panel, and the door slid open, revealing a vast preparation chamber. Ethan stepped inside, heart pounding, ready to face his new fate. The metal door slid open, revealing a frigid preparation chamber, blue light from metal walls glinting like ice. Ethan was shoved inside, chains gone, but the control device in his spine burned hot, a reminder of the thin line between life and death. Two Klythar guards, thin-winged and sharp-eyed, stripped his tattered pilot's uniform, fabric falling like memories of Earth. A blast of freezing antiseptic gas stung his skin like 1,000 needles. Ethan clenched his jaw, standing tall, hiding pain. They tossed him gray clothing, cold and sleek, bearing Skyforce emblem, a broken star cradled by Klythar wings. He dressed, the alien fabric clinging to his muscles, a declaration. He was no longer a pilot, but property. A lean Klythar glided in, wings thin as gossamer, yellow eyes scanning Ethan like trash. "This is the human pilot?" Chief Engineer Zorati's voice, sharp and contemptuous, echoed through a translator. He circled Ethan, wings stirring cold air. "No better than scrap from a third-rate planet." General Vera, beside him, growled, wings twitching with impatience. "The leader demanded someone skilled in piloting and repair," she said, voice hard. "He operated human warships, fixed ships under fire. He qualifies." Zora this sneered, sharp teeth glinting like knives. "Fine, human. Simple task. Leader Sylvara suffered neural damage after an attack. You assist in repairing her biotech while I work on a cure." Ethan smelled the lie instantly, sharp as burning metal. 30,000 credits for a mechanic? No way. Something bigger lurked in the shadows. He kept his face blank, eyes tracking Zora this, noting every tell, the wing flick when he lied, the glance avoiding Vera. "Understood," Ethan replied, voice low, masking suspicion. Zora this snorted, leading them through a final door, Vera's steps echoing like a war drum behind. The door opened to a vast chamber, its high ceiling sparkling with starlight, walls glowing like a miniature galaxy. A massive window overlooked Zoratha's city, spiral towers piercing clouds, the red desert beyond swirling with sandstorms like fire dragons. At the center, a levitating platform hummed, surrounded by tech, medical scanners resembling Earth's, mixed with alien machines, screens flashing Klythar biodata. And on the platform lay her, Leader Sylvara, motionless, silver wings draped like silk, each feather quivering faintly in the air. Her black hair spilled long, contrasting pale, almost luminous skin. Deep purple eyes locked onto Ethan, sharp as blades, piercing him like radar. Though her body was still, she radiated a warrior's presence, as if the sky itself had knelt beneath her wings. "General Vera," she said, voice clear and commanding, echoing through the chamber. "The human has been brought as I requested." Vera bowed, wings folded in respect. "Yes, leader." Sylvara's eyes shifted to Ethan, sending a chill down his spine. This was no weakling's gaze. This was the stare of a wounded predator, still ready to kill. "Both of you leave," Sylvara ordered, voice unyielding. Vera hesitated, wings twitching. Leader, perhaps this should stay to oversee. Sylvara growled, purple eyes flashing. I said leave. This shot Ethan a warning glance, sharp as a blade, then bowed and glided out with Vera. The metal door closed, heavy as a coffin lid, leaving Ethan and Sylvara in silence. She studied him, her gaze piercing, as if reading his pulse. Come closer, she said, voice low, cutting. Ethan approached, stopping an arm's length from the platform. Up close, he saw tension around her eyes, pain expertly masked. Do you have a name, human? She asked. Ethan Kane, leader, he replied, voice steady. A faint smirk, fleeting as a star. Pilot, master of machines among the stars. Combat pilot, he corrected, eyes unwavering. Squadron commander, ship repairs under fire. Sylvara tilted her head, purple eyes weighing his worth. Humans are weak, yet resilient, compensating with skill and will. Be clear, Ethan. I cannot control my body from the neck down. My engineers find no cause, no cure. You are my last chance before Skyforce Council deposes me. Her bluntness hit like a shockwave. No evasion, no pretense. Like a pilot's report before battle. If I fail? He asked, voice low. A cold smile curved her lips, sharp teeth gleaming like pearls. We both lose everything. Ethan scanned the equipment around the platform, his pilot's mind analyzing. Scanners, sensors, biocircuits, some familiar, others alien as Klythar tech. When did the injury happen? He asked. Sudden or gradual? Sylvara commanded, voice sharp. Examine me first. I need to know if human skill sees what my engineers missed. He nodded. I'll need to touch your biotech, leader. Her eyes narrowed, purple glinting with danger. Proceed. But overstep, and Vera will tear you apart. Ethan worked, precise as repairing a ship under fire. He touched the bionodes on her wings, fingers gliding lightly, checking signal feedback. Screens flickered, Klythar data mapping like a star chart. Her body, though still, exuded power, taut muscles, wings like silver blades, each feather a latent weapon. As his hands traced biocircuits along her back, Sylvara's eyes tracked him, sharp, suspicious, memorizing every move. He felt her gaze, heavy as a gun barrel aimed at his head. The data appeared irregular. Neural signals were blocked, not severed, like a ship's circuit cut but still humming faintly. Ethan frowned, mind racing. This wasn't natural trauma. The attack? He asked, voice low, hands still working. How did it happen? Sylvara answered, voice hard. 3 months ago, asteroid belt. I led a squadron against Sarian raiders. An explosion hit my ship, wrecked the control bay. I woke, unable to move wings or legs. Ethan nodded, but suspicion took root. An explosion? No major physical damage. Something was off. How long has this examined you? He asked, eyes on the screen. Since the start, she replied, voice tinged with doubt. He adjusts my equipment daily. Ethan noted it. Signals worsened after Zoratis's interventions. He wasn't healing her. He was hiding something. But Ethan needed proof. He turned, meeting Sylvara's gaze. I'll dig deeper, leader. If something's wrong, I'll find it. Her eyes locked onto his, a challenge. You'd better be right, human, she said, voice low, dangerous. I don't tolerate failure. Ethan nodded, heart pounding. He was no mere captive. He was her key, or the blade that could end them both. 3 days passed, Ethan confined to a room beside Sylvara's, a lavish prison with a liquid metal bed molding to his body and a window overlooking Zoratha's red desert, where sandstorms roared like beasts. The control device in his spine burned hot, a reminder of the fragile line between life and death. He stayed alert, ears pricked for Sylvara's voice through the calm, sharp as a blade. What are you doing? She asked, cutting through the air as Ethan hunched over scrap components, hands moving deftly. He dismantled a medical analyzer, fusing sensors from her biotech to build a tool for reading Klythar signals. Wires sparked, a small screen displaying raw data. "Trying to understand your biotech," he replied, eyes fixed on his work. "Flight Academy didn't cover Klythar wings." Sylvara's silver wings twitched, a sign of irritation, feathers quivering like blades. "Zordis claims to be Skyforce bioexpert," she said, voice cold. "Yet here I lie, immobile, while a human fumbles with alien machines." Ethan looked up, meeting her deep purple eyes, sharp as plasma bolts. "With respect, leader," he said, voice low but firm. "If Zordis was as good as he brags, you wouldn't need me." Silence fell, heavy as the air before a storm. Then Sylvara laughed, a short, sharp sound like silver bells, echoing in the chamber. "You're bold," she said, eyes glinting. "Or fearless." Ethan bent back to work, but his mind screamed. From the first exam, he'd seen anomalies. Sylvara's biosignals were blocked, not severed, like a ship's circuit cut but still faintly live. The damage pattern didn't match any neural trauma he knew, though his experience was limited to human medicine and warship repairs. Her condition fluctuated, better in the early morning, when Zortha's twin suns filtered through the window, but worse after Zoradis's adjustments. Ethan catalogued every detail, Zoradis's wing flicks during checks, his evasive glances, hands moving too fast over vials. "How did it happen?" Ethan asked, fingers tracing biocircuits on her wings, checking signals. "Your injury." Sylvara's eyes narrowed, purple glinting with suspicion, but she answered. 3 months ago, asteroid belt. I led a squadron against Zarian raiders. An explosion hit my ship, wrecked the control bay. I woke, unable to move wings or legs. Ethan nodded, mind analyzing. "Anything unusual about the blast? Chemicals? Radiation?" "No," she replied, voice hard as steel. "The ship was thoroughly checked. Zoradis began repairs immediately." The name, Zoradis, rang like a warning signal. Ethan tracked his interventions and Sylvara's decline. The pattern was stark. Each time Zoradis touched her equipment, her neural signals weakened, like a ship drained of fuel. Suspicion wasn't enough. He needed proof, hard as steel, sharp as a knife. That night, as Sylvara slipped into rest, eyes closed, breathing slow, wings still faintly quivering like a warrior ready to fight, Ethan slipped out. The hall was dark, cold, smelling of metal and damp earth. He moved silently, his skills in breaching enemy ship security, honed through countless battles, now his weapon. Zoradis's equipment vault lay behind a triple-locked door, sensors sweeping constantly. Ethan knelt, pulling his makeshift scanner, bypassing the security code. 10 seconds, the door beeped softly, sliding open. Inside, metal shelves held vials, syringes, and biotech. A small, separately locked cabinet drew his eye. He cracked the code, hands steady as under fire. The cabinet opened, revealing clear vials and a calm device unmarked by Klythar symbols, alien, dangerous. He activated it, slicing through dense encryption. A message appeared. "Maintain dosage. Zarian needs her alive but useless. Ships arrive in 12 days. Ethan's heart pounded, blood surging. Conspiracy. He took a vial, analyzing it with his scanner. Results confirmed his suspicion. An unknown compound, absent from Klythar medical records, accumulated in Sylvara's system, blocking neural signals. Poison, not trauma. The next morning, as Zoradis arrived for checks, Ethan stood nearby, eyes cold, watching. Zoradis drew a clear vial, movements slow, concealed, injecting it into Sylvara's biotech, avoiding the guard's gaze. Ethan noted, new vial, different label, faint metallic scent. As Zoradis left, wings twitching smugly, Ethan approached the platform. "There's a problem with your equipment," he said, voice low, eyes locked on Sylvara. Her wings shuddered, silver feathers glinting like blades, a sign of fury. "Explain," she commanded, voice sharp as cut metal. Ethan showed his scanner, its screen displaying signal graphs. "I analyzed the system. There's an unknown compound, not part of any repair plan. It's blocking your neural signals, keeping you paralyzed. He pointed to the data, curves clear as a warship's radar. You're saying I'm poisoned? Her voice was dangerous, purple eyes blazing like fire. By my chief engineer? It's the truth, Ethan replied, voice firm, unwavering. I found messages on Zoradis's device. He's linked to Zarian. He projected the message. Alive but useless. Sylvara bared her teeth, sharp as pearls, wings shuddering, stirring the air into a vortex. Zoradis served Skyforce for decades, she growled, but her eyes betrayed doubt, sharp as a hidden blade. Ethan stepped closer, voice low. Someone wants you weakened, not dead. A slow decline, perfect for a coup. Zarian wants your fleet. Silence stretched, heavy as cosmic dark. Sylvara studied him, purple eyes probing like radar sweeping an enemy ship. What do you propose? She asked, voice low, dangerous. Verify who's behind it, Ethan replied. I can tweak the equipment, filter the compound, but it must stay secret. Zoradis can't know. Sylvara nodded slowly, eyes never leaving him. Your life rides on proving this, human. Ethan turned to the equipment, calculating nanodoses to flush the toxin, hands moving fast as under fire. As he prepared to leave, Sylvara spoke, voice soft, almost a whisper. Ethan, if you're right, you're the only one I can trust. Her words hung, like a radar ping in the dark, binding them in a fragile alliance. He nodded, heart pounding. This was no mere mission. This was war, and he wasn't fighting alone. A week passed, and Ethan and Sylvara settled into a dangerous rhythm, like a pilot navigating an asteroid field. By day, Ethan played the obedient captive, bowing to Zoradis, assisting with equipment checks, but his eyes remained sharp, cataloging the engineer's every move. By night, in the shadows of Sylvara's chamber, he became a hunter, tweaking her biotech with makeshift nanofilters cobbled from scrap parts in the storage vault. Each dose was a gamble. Too fast, Zoradis would notice. Too slow, Sylvara wouldn't recover before Zarian struck. The control device in Ethan's spine burned hot, a warning, one mistake, and both would vanish. What are you doing? Sylvara asked one night, her voice cutting through the dark as Ethan hunched beside her wing, his homemade scanner flickering blue. The light illuminated her face, highlighting deep purple eyes sharp as plasma blades. He checked signals, fingers gliding lightly over biocircuits. Monitoring progress, he replied, eyes fixed on the small screen. The compound's down 10%. Wing neural signals are improving. Sylvara twitched her wing, a small but precise motion, silver feathers glinting like blades. I feel it, she said, voice tinged with nostalgia, as if recalling the freedom of flight. Like when I soared. Her tone hardened, commanding. How much longer? Ethan met her gaze. Weeks, he said, voice low. But we need to move faster. I found new messages on Zoradis's device. Zarian ships arrive in 8 days, carrying a delegate for marriage talks. Sylvara's wings shuddered, stirring a gust that made the scanner flicker. Marriage? She growled, baring sharp teeth that gleamed like pearls. To whom? Ethan kept his face cold, voice firm. Warlord Krez. Zarian wants the marriage to legitimize control over your fleet. Sylvara snarled, purple eyes blazing like fire. Marriage to Krez is enslavement, she roared. He'd make me a puppet, my fleet a blade to carve up human colonies. Ethan nodded, memories of Hawk squadrons surging, plasma blasts, comrade screams, and the colonies he swore to protect. My squadron died for those colonies, he said, voice low, heavy as metal. Silence fell, both sharing the ache of loss, like warriors on a ruined battlefield. Sylvara broke it, voice soft but sharp. Tell me of your world. Ethan hesitated, then spoke, of Earth, green fields under blue skies, skyscrapers glittering with light, and starlit battles where humans fought despite being outmatched. Sylvara listened, purple eyes glinting with curiosity, like radar scanning new space. Humans are frail, she said, voice tinged with admiration. Yet you thrive in adversity. Ethan gave a faint smile, lips twitching. We adapt. Especially in palaces full of traitors. Their talk was cut short as Lyra, a thin-winged Klythar servant, glided in, swift as a ghost. She set down a water tray, eyes lowered, but her whispered voice trembled. Leader, she said, glancing at Ethan, then Sylvara. I overheard this with Councillor Tarek. They spoke of Zarian and a plan to eliminate General Vera. Sylvara growled, wings shuddering, silver feathers flashing like blades. Vera is my most loyal, she snapped, voice sharp as cut metal. Ethan frowned, his pilot's mind racing. If they're targeting Vera, this conspiracy runs deeper than this, he said, voice low. Sylvara nodded, purple eyes locking onto Lyra. Find Vera. Warn her discreetly. Lyra nodded, thin wings quivering, and glided out like a shadow. That night, Ethan administered a new nanodose, hands steady as under fire. He checked signals, the screen flashing data. Sylvara suddenly gripped his hand, a weak but deliberate motion, cold fingers clamping his wrist. Both froze, eyes locking. Her hand, once commanding squadrons through battle, trembled but burned with will. It's working, she whispered, voice thick with emotion, purple eyes shimmering like stars. Ethan nodded, feeling the warmth of her grip, heart pounding. You're getting stronger, he said, voice low, masking awe. But heavy, deliberate footsteps echoed. Ethan hid the scanner under the platform, swift as cracking enemy ship codes, just as this entered. The engineer's thin wings twitched, pale yellow eyes slicing over Ethan like a blade across prey. Leader! He bowed to Sylvara, voice feigning deference, but his gaze lingered on Ethan. I'm checking the equipment. There's an anomaly in the data. Sylvara lay still, but her purple eyes pinned this dangerous. What anomaly? She asked, voice weak, playing the frail leader, but sharp as a hidden blade. This approached the platform, scanner in hand, fingers moving fast, concealing. Biosignals are fluctuating, he replied, voice smooth, but his wings twitched, a tell of stress. Needs recalibration. He drew a new vial, darker, glinting metallic, and prepared to inject. Ethan stood nearby, heart racing, eyes cold. A different vial, stronger poison, he was certain. Human, leave! This snapped, voice sharp. Sylvara cut in, voice weak but unyielding. He stays. I feel safer with him. Zoratis's wings shuddered, anger flaring, but he didn't argue. He injected the fluid, movements slow, concealed, then left, his glance at Ethan a warning. As the door closed, Ethan turned to Sylvara. He's upping the poison dose, he said, voice low, eyes locked on her. We act now, or you won't survive the week. Sylvara nodded, purple eyes burning like fire. Expose him, she commanded. And Vera, I need her. Ethan nodded, his pilot's mind plotting. I'll find Vera, using the secret passage Lyra knows. Sylvara pointed to a wall behind the platform, voice low. Only leaders know that path. It leads to Vera's strategy room. Ethan nodded, but she gripped his hand, a faint squeeze. Be careful, Ethan, she said, voice deep, heavy as a vow. If you die, I have no one. Ethan nodded, heart pounding. Their alliance, fragile as a radar ping in a storm, was now their only weapon against the tightening dark. This circled the platform, thin wings twitching, scanner in hand, pale yellow eyes probing like a blade. Ethan stood nearby, heart pounding, but his face was steel, betraying no suspicion. Sylvara lay still, purple eyes pinning voice weak but sharp. What anomaly? She asked, playing the weakened leader, her gaze a hidden blade. Bowed, voice feigning concern. Biosignals are fluctuating, he replied, fingers moving fast, drawing a new vial, darker, glinting metallic. The equipment needs recalibration. Ethan recognized it instantly, a different vial, stronger poison, the faint metallic scent confirming his fears. Human, leave! Snapped, wings shuddering with anger. Sylvara cut in, voice weak but unyielding. He stays. I feel safer with him. Zoratis's wings flared, feathers glinting like knives, but he didn't argue. He injected the fluid, movements slow, concealed, eyes avoiding the nearby guards. Ethan memorized details: new vial, strange label, the way he hid his hand. As Zorathus left, wings twitching smugly, Ethan turned to Sylvara, voice low, urgent. He's upping the poison dose. If we don't act, you won't survive the week. Sylvara nodded, purple eyes blazing like fire. Expose him, she commanded, voice hard as steel. And Vera, I need her. Ethan nodded, his pilot's mind plotting fast as radar sweeping a battlefield. I'll find Vera, using the secret passage Lyra showed. Sylvara pointed to a wall behind the platform, voice low. Only leaders know this path. It leads to Vera's strategy room. Ethan prepared to leave, but she gripped his hand, cold fingers clamping tight. Be careful, Ethan, she said, voice deep, heavy as a vow. If you die, I have no one. He nodded, heart pounding, feeling the strength in her frail grip. The secret passage was dark, narrow, the air thick with metal and damp earth. Ethan moved silently, feet light as when infiltrating enemy ships, dodging blue glowing sensors on the walls. Each step was a heartbeat, each shadow a threat. He reached the strategy room, dim light from a star map casting Vera's silhouette, her wings twitching as she scanned tactical data. General, Ethan whispered, stepping from the dark. Vera spun, hand on her plasma sword, yellow eyes flashing danger, but she froze, recognizing him. Human? Why are you here? She growled, voice low. The leader sent me, Ethan replied, voice firm. He briefed her, Zorathus's plot, the poison, Zarian's threat. Vera roared, wings shuddering, silver feathers glinting like blades. I suspected Tarek, but Zorathus. He betrays Skyforce's blood! An explosion rocked the palace, stone floors cracking, dust falling like rain. Alarms screamed, shrill as a warship hit. Shouts echoed, mixed with plasma blasts. Vera yanked Ethan to the door, eyes scanning the hall. Klythar soldiers in black armor, unmarked by Skyforce, charged, plasma rifles glowing blue. Zarian! Vera roared, drawing her plasma sword, its blade blazing like a sun. Ethan grabbed a metal rod from the rubble, heavy and crude, but lethal. His pilot's skills turned him into a whirlwind, dodging, striking, spinning, downing two foes before they could fire. Vera slashed, wings spread, green blood splattering walls as she cut down enemies. They repelled the assault, but Vera staggered, green blood seeping from a gash on her wing. Get to Sylvara, she ordered, voice hoarse. Protect her. I'll rally loyal forces. Ethan dove into the secret passage, heart thundering, sweat soaking his shirt. The corridors shook from distant blasts, dust falling. He ran, feet swift as piloting through an asteroid field, reaching Sylvara's chamber. The door opened, and his blood ran cold. Lyra lay slumped on the floor, green blood pooling, thin wings quivering. Ethan! Zorathus knows, she whispered, voice faint, before passing out. Ethan charged in, finding Sylvara on the platform, 3 Zarian soldiers surrounding her, plasma rifles aimed. No time to think. Ethan lunged, swinging the metal rod, crushing one soldier's skull, green blood spraying. The second turned, firing, but Ethan rolled, dodging the searing plasma, then drove the rod through his chest. The last aimed at Sylvara, barrel glowing, but she swung her wing, a weak motion but enough to unbalance him. Ethan charged, smashing him down with a single blow. Zarian bodies littered the floor, green blood soaking the stone. You okay? Ethan asked, panting, eyes scanning Sylvara. She nodded, purple eyes anxious but sharp. Zorathus led Zarian into the palace, she said, voice low, dangerous. Ethan helped her sit up, hands steady as gripping a ship's controls. We need to move, he said. Vera's rallying forces, but the palace isn't safe. Sylvara pointed to the wall behind the platform, voice firm. An escape route to the desert. Lyra knows the way. Ethan knelt beside Lyra, checking her pulse. She was alive barely. He bandaged her wounds with torn cloth, swift and precise as patching a ship under fire. She needs time, he said, turning to Sylvara. I'll carry you. Sylvara growled, wings twitching, but nodded, purple eyes locked on him. He lifted her, gentle but firm, feeling the latent strength in her still body. Lyra, propped up, staggered but guided them, wings trembling. The wall slid open, revealing a narrow, dark passage, thick with earth and metal. Ethan led, Sylvara in his arms, Lyra trailing. Each step was a heartbeat, each sound a threat. Alarms wailed, distant blasts echoing like war drums. "Zora, this knows you're alive," Lyra whispered, voice shaking. "He'll hunt us." Ethan nodded, eyes scanning the dark. "He wants you useless," he said, voice low. "But we'll make him pay." The passage opened to an ancient hatch, revealing Zoratha's red desert. Sandstorms roared, red sand swirling like blood. Ethan set Sylvara down, her silver wings twitching as she touched the stone. She stood for seconds, wings spread, feathers glinting like blades, before collapsing. "I'm stronger," she said, voice sharp, purple eyes blazing. Ethan nodded, heart pounding. Their alliance, forged in darkness, now faced the enemy's blade, and they would not fall. Ethan carried Sylvara through the secret passage, each step echoing softly in the narrow dark, the air thick with damp earth and metal. Lyra, her thin wings bandaged, staggered behind, eyes sharp despite her weakness. The control device in Ethan's spine burned hot, a reminder that the enemy was one mistake away. The passage led to an ancient hatch, sliding open with a metallic hiss, revealing Zoratha's red desert. Sandstorms howled, red sand swirling like blood, the twin suns, one red, one gold, hanging low, casting harsh light over the desolate scene. Ethan set Sylvara down, gentle but firm, her silver wings quivering as they touched the stone. "I can stand," she said, voice hard, purple eyes blazing. With Ethan's support, she rose, wings spreading briefly, feathers glinting like blades, before collapsing. Ethan knelt beside her, voice low, steady. "You're getting stronger." Sylvara nodded, lips tight, eyes sharp as a pilot before battle. Lyra led the way, steps quick despite trembling, through the desert to a hidden cave, shielded by rock and sand. Inside, Skyforce rebels waited, Klythar guards with folded wings, loyal pilots with blazing yellow eyes, plasma weapons stacked on stone shelves. They bowed to Sylvara, but their anxious gazes lingered, as if fearing their leader had fallen. A scarred-winged pilot reported, voice low. "Zora, this and Tarek seized the palace, claiming the leader vanished. Tarek declared himself regent. Zarian ships entered orbit, carrying warlord Krez for the marriage." Ethan frowned, memories of Hawk Squadron rising, human colonies, brothers he swore to protect. "They'll use the fleet to attack human colonies," he said, voice hard as steel. Sylvara nodded, wings twitching. "We strike at the marriage ceremony," she commanded, voice sharp as a blade. "When they're weakest." Ethan worked through the night, his homemade scanner's light glinting off his sweat-slick face. He built a levitating chair for Sylvara from scrap, old scanners, discarded ship engines, and concealed plasma guns in the armrests. Each weld, each circuit, was forged by pilot skills honed in fire. When finished, the chair hovered smoothly, gleaming metallic, agile as a warship. "It lets you move without revealing your recovery," he explained, voice low, eyes scanning her reaction. Sylvara touched the chair, fingers gliding over its surface, purple eyes shimmering with rare admiration. "You are truly a species of adaptation," she said, voice low, laced with respect. Lyra glided into the cave, thin wings trembling, bearing grim news. "Vera's been captured," she whispered, eyes anxious. "Held in the palace. Zora, this knows the leader lives. He's scouring the desert." Sylvara growled, wings shuddering, silver feathers glinting like blades. "We don't abandon Vera," she said, voice sharp, gripping Ethan's hand, cold fingers clamping tight. Ethan nodded, his pilot's mind plotting fast as radar sweeping a battlefield. "We rescue Vera and hit the marriage ceremony simultaneously," he replied, voice firm. "Zora, this won't expect a counterattack." The night before the battle, Ethan sat alone in a cave corner, analyzing data from Zoratha's comm device, cracking codes with skills used to hack enemy ships. A new message chilled his blood. Keep Sylvara alive. Krez isn't the decision-maker. The true master arrives in 3 days. He shared it with Sylvara, voice low, eyes locked on her. Krez is a puppet. Someone bigger pulls the strings. Sylvara frowned, wings twitching, purple eyes narrowing. The Black Star Coalition, she said, voice heavy as stone. An interplanetary syndicate, bent on galactic domination. If they control my fleet, the galaxy kneels. Ethan nodded, memories of Earth, green fields, glittering cities, surging. The Black Star wouldn't stop at Zorth. They'd crush everything he swore to protect. We disrupt their plan before the Master arrives, he said, voice low. Sylvara nodded, purple eyes blazing like fire. I won't let Skyforce fall to the Black Star, she commanded. Plan it, Ethan. We hit the marriage ceremony, rescue Vera, and end Zorthis. The rebels gathered, plasma gunlight glinting off their faces, yellow eyes burning with resolve. Ethan laid out the plan, voice firm, like commanding a squadron before battle. We split into 2 teams, he said, pointing to a rough stone map. Team 1 infiltrates the palace via the tunnels, frees Vera. Team 2 hits the marriage ceremony, targeting Krez and Tarek. Sylvara leads from the levitating chair. I'm with her. A scarred winged guard growled. A human commands Skyforce? Sylvara cut in, voice sharp as a blade. He saved me. He's trustworthy. Question him, you face me. Silence fell, rebels bowing, accepting. Deep in the night, Ethan checked Sylvara's chair, fingers gliding over circuits, ensuring the hidden plasma guns worked. Sylvara watched, voice low. Why do you do this? She asked, purple eyes probing. You could flee, find a way back to Earth. Ethan paused, meeting her gaze. Because I know betrayal, he replied, voice low, heavy with memories of Hawk Squadron. And because you're worth fighting for. Sylvara touched his hand, cold but strong fingers, silver wings quivering. If we survive, she said, voice soft as a vow, I want you to stay, not as a prisoner, as my equal. The moment hung, like a radar ping in the dark, but distant wing beats snapped it. Lyra glided in, eyes anxious. Scouts spotted Zarian troops closing in. She whispered. Zorthis knows we're here. Ethan stood, gripping the metal rod, eyes cold as steel. They want to hunt us, he said, voice low. But we'll be the hunters. Sylvara nodded, climbing into the levitating chair, wings spreading, feathers glinting like blades. Prepare, Ethan, she commanded. Our oath will be carved in the blood of our enemies. The sandstorm howled outside the cave, red sand swirling like blood, obscuring the light of Zorth's twin suns. Ethan, Sylvara, and the Skyforce rebels faced a Zarian squad, black-armored soldiers gliding through the desert, plasma rifles glowing blue. Ethan led the charge, piloting a hastily assembled scrap ship, its engines screaming, metal hull rattling like a wounded beast. He weaved through the storm, drawing the enemy away from the cave. Plasma bolts tore the air, searing past the ship's flank, but Ethan dodged, hands steady as when piloting blue flame through an asteroid field. Sylvara, in her makeshift levitating chair, glided beside him, silver wings quivering with pride, feathers glinting like blades. She gunned down Zarian soldiers with the chair's hidden plasma guns, each shot precise as a warrior's heartbeat. Her deep purple eyes blazed, like the sky before a tempest. The rebels fought fiercely, plasma swords slashing, wings spread wide, but Zarian outnumbered them, ferocious. When the storm cleared, bodies littered the sand, green blood soaking the red desert. They won, but at a cost, half the rebels fallen, their golden eyes dimmed forever. Back in the cave, the air was heavy. Guards checked weapons, pilots whispered tactics, but Ethan sensed an invisible threat. Zorthis knows we're here, he said, voice low, eyes scanning the rebels. There's a traitor. Sylvara, hovering in her chair, nodded, wings twitching, purple eyes sharp as knives. Find them, she commanded, voice hard. Ethan interrogated each rebel, eyes cold, his pilot's mind analyzing every tell, twitching wings, averted gazes, hesitant voices. A guard, Xiren, scarred wings glistening with sweat, cracked under pressure. "The Black Star bribed me," he stammered, eyes downcast. "They promised power for your location." Sylvara roared, wings flaring, feathers glinting like swords. "Execute him," she ordered, voice sharp as cut metal. Rebels drew plasma swords, blue light flaring, but Ethan raised a hand, voice firm. "He's still useful. Xiren will lead us to Zorathis." Sylvara's eyes narrowed, purple glinting with suspicion, but she nodded. "You're right, human. Use a traitor to trap a traitor." They planned in the cave's dim light, a rough stone map glowing under plasma light. Ethan outlined the strategy, voice low, like commanding a squadron before battle. "Use Xiren as bait," he said, pointing to the map. "He sends a false signal, luring Zorathis and Zarian into an ambush at the canyon near the palace. Team 1 rescues Vera through the tunnels. Team 2 hits the marriage ceremony, targeting Krez and Tarek. Sylvara leads, I'm with her." A scarred pilot growled. "A human commands?" Sylvara cut in, voice sharp. "He saved me. He's trustworthy. Question him, you face me." Silence fell, rebels bowing, accepting. That night, Ethan helped Sylvara practice standing in a dark corner of the cave, the scanner's light glinting off her face. He supported her, hands steady, feeling her muscles tense, wings shuddering, silver feathers flashing like blades. She rose, standing for seconds, purple eyes blazing, before collapsing into him, breaths mingling, searing. "Why do you do this?" she asked, voice low, eyes locked on him. "You could flee, return to Earth." Ethan met her gaze, voice low, heavy with memory. "Because I know betrayal," he replied, Hawk Squadron burning in his mind. "And because you're worth fighting for." Sylvara touched his cheek, cold but strong fingers, silver wings softly encircling him, feathers brushing like a whisper. "If we survive," she said, voice soft as a vow, "I want you to stay, not as a prisoner, as my equal." Time froze, their gazes locked, erasing the divide between human and Klythar. He leaned in, lips meeting hers in a searing kiss, like plasma igniting between stars. Breaths intertwined, her hands gripped his shoulders, wings quivering as if ready to soar. But the moment shattered as wing beats echoed. A rebel glided in, golden eyes anxious. "Another Zarian squad approaches," he reported, voice urgent. 2 miles out." Ethan stood, gripping his metal rod, eyes cold as steel. Sylvara climbed into her chair, wings spreading, feathers glinting like blades. "Prepare to fight," she commanded, voice sharp. "They hunt us, but we'll be the hunters." Ethan checked the chair's plasma guns, hands swift as repairing a ship under fire. He turned to the rebels, voice firm. "Set traps at the entrance. Use the sand as bait. When Zarian advances, detonate plasma mines." Rebels nodded, moving fast, guards stacking weapons, pilots checking scrap ships. Lyra, her thin wings healed, glided in with scout reports. "Zorathis leads the Zarian squad," she whispered. "He wants proof the leader's dead." Sylvara growled, purple eyes blazing like fire. "He'll see me alive, and pay." Ethan knelt by the map, refining the plan, his pilot's mind calculating like radar sweeping a battlefield. "Xiren sends the false signal right after this fight," he said, voice low. "He tells Zorathis Sylvara died in the battle. When Zorathis comes to check, we ambush." Sylvara nodded, gripping the chair's armrests, purple eyes locked on him. "We don't just save Skyforce," she said, voice heavy as a vow. "We destroy the Black Star." The sandstorm outside roared, heralding blood to come. Ethan stood beside Sylvara, metal rod in hand, heart pounding but eyes cold. The control device in his spine burned, but it couldn't stop his will. They were an alliance forged in fire, ready to face the enemy's blade. Plasma fire echoed from afar, the battle begun. On the day of the marriage ceremony, the Skyforce Palace gleamed with metallic light, but the air was thick with the stench of blood and betrayal. Ethan led the rebels through a secret passage, a narrow, dark tunnel heavy with damp earth and metal. Xiren, the chained traitor, shuffled ahead, eyes downcast, thin wings trembling under Ethan's icy stare. Sylvara, in her makeshift levitating chair, glided beside him, silver wings quivering, purple eyes blazing like fire. Each hum of the chair's engine was a reminder. Time was running out, and the black star was tightening its grip. They reached the dungeon holding Vera. Zarian guards patrolled, plasma rifles glowing blue, but Ethan moved silently, his pilot skills turning him into a shadow. He downed 2 guards with his metal rod, swift as lightning, green blood splattering the walls. The cell door opened, revealing Vera, armor torn, green blood seeping from her wings, but golden eyes burning with resolve. "Leader," she growled, bowing to Sylvara. "Human, you kept your word." Sylvara nodded, voice sharp. "Vera, we take back Skyforce." Vera grabbed a plasma sword from a fallen guard, wings spreading, ready to kill. The rebels advanced to the throne room, Ethan's heart pounding but mind cold as steel, analyzing every sound, every shadow. The massive doors slid open, revealing the glittering throne, but the air was heavy as before a storm. They'd walked into a trap. Zoratha stood there, thin wings twitching smugly, beside Tarek, pale yellow eyes glinting with contempt. Warlord Krez, massive in crimson armor, bared his teeth, and a strange Klythar, black wings spread wide, radiated deadly authority. "Black Star's ambassador," he declared, voice booming like thunder. The ambassador stepped forward, removing a metal mask to reveal an angular face, eerily like Sylvara's. Deep purple eyes, black hair, but cold as the void. Sylvara roared, voice trembling, wings shuddering. "Klythar! My brother!" Klythar sneered, sharp teeth gleaming like pearls. "You usurped me, sister," he said, voice sharp as a blade. "Now I take it all, backed by the Black Star." He revealed the plan, voice smooth as poison. Use Sylvara as a puppet, Krez as a front, letting the Black Star control Skyforce fleet to carve up the galaxy. Ethan clenched his jaw, memories of Earth, colonies, brothers, burning in his mind. Battle erupted, like plasma igniting between stars. Ethan charged, swinging his metal rod, downing a Zarian soldier in one strike, green blood spraying. Sylvara, in her chair, fired plasma guns, each shot precise, felling Krez in a flash. The warlord collapsed, crimson armor pierced, eyes wide. Vera led the rebels in, plasma swords slashing, wings spread, turning the tide. Zarian soldiers fell, green blood pooling, but Klythar glided forward, swift as a ghost, plasma sword blazing, aiming for Sylvara. Ethan leapt in, blocking the blade with his rod, the clash jarring his arms. Klythar smirked, black wings flaring, feathers glinting like knives. "Think you're enough, human?" he roared, striking relentlessly. Ethan dodged, rolled, his pilot's skills a whirlwind. He pulled his makeshift scanner, triggering an electric pulse targeting Klythar's wing biocircuits. Signals disrupted, Klythar staggered, wings spasming. "Insect!" he screamed, but Ethan didn't stop, slamming the rod into Klythar's knee, forcing him down. Sylvara rose from her chair, silver wings spreading, feathers quivering like swords. She stepped forward, each move trembling but strong, Vera's plasma sword in hand, blue light blazing. "Klythar!" she roared, voice sharp as cut metal. "You betrayed Skyforce's blood." Klythar bared his teeth, green blood dripping from his lips. "The Black Star will crush you," he whispered, but Sylvara drove the sword through his chest. Klythar collapsed, purple eyes fading, his final whisper. "The Black Star won't stop." Zoratha and Tarek, surrounded by rebels, knelt, thin wings trembling. Vera raised her sword, but Sylvara commanded, voice cold. "Imprison them. They'll face Skyforce judgment." The palace was reclaimed, green blood and Zarian bodies littering the floor, but the air remained heavy. Sylvara stood by the throne, wings spread, purple eyes blazing, but Ethan saw worry in her gaze. "The Black Star remains a threat," she said, voice low, turning to him. "Klythar was a puppet. The true master is still out there." Ethan nodded, gripping his rod, memories of Hawk Squadron rising, colonies, oaths. "We'll find them," he replied, voice firm. "The Black Star wants the galaxy, But they'll face humanity and Sky Force. Vera, green blood still seeping from her wings, growled in agreement. I'll lead the fleet, she said. No enemy escapes. Rebels cheered, plasma swords raised, but Ethan and Sylvara stood apart, gazes locked. She touched his hand, cold but strong fingers, silver wings brushing him. You gave me Sky Force, she said, voice soft but sharp. Now stand with me, as an equal. Ethan nodded, heart pounding, feeling her warmth. I'm not going anywhere, he replied, voice low, like a vow. But alarms wailed, shrill as a warship's cry. Lyra glided in, thin wings trembling. Black Star ships entered orbit, she reported, voice urgent. A massive fleet, led by a superdreadnought. Sylvara roared, wings flaring, feathers glinting like blades. Prepare the fleet, she commanded, purple eyes blazing. Sky Force doesn't kneel. Ethan stood beside her, rod in hand, eyes cold as steel. The Black Star came sooner than expected, but he'd faced fire, lost his squadron, and survived. Their alliance, forged in blood and betrayal, would not fall. We fight, he said, voice firm, meeting her gaze. Sylvara nodded, a cold smile curling her lips, sharp teeth gleaming like pearls. Together, she replied, voice like thunder. The palace shook from distant explosions, a new battle dawning. Smoke cleared over the Skyforce palace, the stench of burnt metal and green blood lingering. The throne room gleamed with star-etched walls, but the stone floor bore battle scars, blood, shattered armor, Zarian bodies. Sylvara sat on the throne, silver wings spread, feathers quivering, glinting like blades. Her deep purple eyes blazed, regal as a storm-charged sky. Ethan stood beside her, tattered gray clothes bloodied, metal rods still gripped, eyes cold as steel, unwavering. Skyforce rebels, guards, and pilots stood tall, plasma swords raised, golden eyes shining with reverence. Sylvara rose, each step steady, her recovery evident from Ethan's nanodoses. Her voice rang, sharp as a blade, cutting through the heavy air. This human, she said, pointing to Ethan, saved me, saved Skyforce. He is no captive, no slave. He is my ally, my chosen. She gripped his hand, cold but strong fingers clamping like a vow. Before the crowd, rebels, servants, guards, she pulled him close, lips meeting his in a searing kiss, erasing the divide between human and Klythar. Breaths mingled, her silver wings softly encircling him, feathers brushing like a whisper. The crowd erupted, cheers echoing, plasma swords raised, blue light blazing like a galaxy. Ethan stood tall, heart pounding, but emotions hidden. He'd been a pilot, Hawk Squadron's commander, surviving fire and betrayal. Now, he was Skyforce, not just for Sylvara, but for a greater cause. Sylvara returned to the throne, pulling him beside her, voice low but resonant. Skyforce doesn't kneel to the Black Star, she declared. We'll ally with those who resist the dark. Ethan, you'll carry my words to humanity. He nodded, memories of Earth, green fields, glittering cities, colonies he swore to protect, surging. I'll do it, he replied, voice low, hard as steel. Sylvara commanded loyal pilots, voice sharp. Send a message to human colonies. Offer peace, an alliance against the Black Star. Ethan will be the bridge. A scarred pilot, wings battle-worn, bowed. It will be done, leader. The palace slowly regained order. Zorathis and Tarek, chained, knelt in the dungeons, awaiting judgment. Vera, bandaged but proud, led guards to rebuild security. Lyra, thin wings healed, glided through halls, carrying fleet reports. But Ethan sensed an invisible threat, like a jammed radar signal in the dark. The Black Star didn't fall with Klythar. The true master lurked, and their super-dreadnought closed in on Zorath's orbit. That night, Ethan and Sylvara stood on the palace balcony, gazing at Zorath's star-strewn sky. The twin suns set, leaving a twinkling dark. Desert winds carried red sand, rustling Sylvara's silver feathers. She held his hand, wings brushing his shoulder, her warmth defying the cold air. Do you regret staying? She asked, voice low, purple eyes probing. Instead of returning to Earth? Ethan stared at the galaxy, memories of Hawk Squadron, plasma blasts, comrade screams, burning. No, he replied, voice low. Earth's home, but this is purpose. The Black Star won't stop, and I don't run from a fight. Sylvara smiled faintly, sharp teeth gleaming like pearls. Humans are frail, but your will is like stars, small yet never extinguished. She turned to him, silver wings spreading, enveloping him like the sky embracing a star. I chose you, Ethan, not just for saving me, but for seeing me, not as a queen, but a warrior. He touched her cheek, fingers gliding over pale skin, feeling the strength beneath. And I chose you, he said, voice firm. Because you don't kneel, even against the galaxy. They stood, an alliance forged in blood and fire, ready for the next battle. But a signal flashed from the balcony's comm device, red light pulsing like blood. Ethan activated it, cracking the code as swiftly as hacking an enemy ship. A voice rang out, cold, neither Klythar nor human. Sylvara, human, you won this battle, but the Black Star is a darkness you cannot extinguish. We come, and the galaxy will kneel. The signal cut, leaving heavy silence. Sylvara roared, wings shuddering, feathers glinting like blades. The Black Star wants the galaxy, she said, voice sharp. But they'll face Skyforce and humanity. Ethan nodded, hand tightening, eyes cold as steel. He'd lost his squadron, been chained, but now stood here, no captive, but a warrior. They want darkness, he replied, voice low. We'll give them fire. Vera glided in, green blood crusted on her armor, voice hoarse. The fleet's ready, leader. The Black Star's super dreadnought is 3 days out. Sylvara nodded, purple eyes blazing. Assemble the pilots, she commanded. Prepare ships, fortify orbit. We strike before they land. Ethan turned to her, his pilot's mind already plotting. I'll lead a squadron, he said. Human tactics, hit fast, withdraw, target their engines. Sylvara nodded, a cold smile curling her lips. Together, she said, voice like thunder. The palace crowd, from guards to servants, gathered beneath the throne, golden eyes burning with resolve. Lyra, thin wings glinting, brought a star map, pinpointing the Black Star fleet. Rebels raised plasma swords, cheers echoing like warship engines firing. Ethan stood beside Sylvara, feeling the warmth of her hand, silver wings brushing him. They weren't just an alliance, they were a flame, ready to burn the dark. Zortha's sky twinkled, but the Black Star's signal lingered, like a predator's eyes. Ethan met Sylvara's gaze, her purple eyes fearless. We'll win, he said, voice firm, like a vow. Sylvara gripped his hand, wings spreading, feathers glinting like blades. And if we don't, she replied, voice soft but sharp, we'll die as warriors. The palace shook with the hum of the fleet's engines, the final battle dawning.